Yo guys, what's up? This is Ans. We're doing a first ever episode of Black Swan system. In this video, you're going to learn how to leverage social media, primarily Instagram, to get to the top level of your city, to connect to the high value men, high status men, top dog of your city, and also to attract unbelievably attractive women, right? That you otherwise would never probably meet using apps or other methods that are taught in the mainstream. We'll discuss how to use Instagram, how to set up a profile as quickly as humanly possible, what are the mistakes that guys make, what not to do, and what are the common, most easy way to set up a profile which makes you attractive and which makes other people want to hang out with you more, want to do business with you, and just be interested in you as a person. Let's fucking roll in, man.
Let's fucking roll in. I love the introduction.
So, man, tell me, Max, what do you think Instagram is powerful right now in this day and age for branding or for networking?
Yeah. So it's very interesting because Instagram is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful tool that you can find in the App Store. And a lot of people just use it for social media purposes to push their content out, but you can't even fathom how much possibilities you're missing out if you're not using it properly. So you can use that app way better than, for example, LinkedIn to connect to the top dogs, like you mentioned in the introduction to your city. And of course, to get to know the high quality women in your city, like the 10 out of 10 girl that you possibly would never actually meet through Tinder or just approaching on the street.
Also, the very important point on LinkedIn, man, when you approach a guy on LinkedIn, it's a very transactional relationship,
yeah.
right? So, okay, he's going to judge you. Okay, this motherfucker, he did IT degree, he's a manager,
Yes.
he's doing this and that. But if you come up with Instagram, he doesn't really know, right?
Yes.
His point of judging you is how you appear, your creativity, your personality, the people you hang out with.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you want to build friendships with especially men, Instagram is better than LinkedIn for a lot of reasons because all of the people, I would say 90% of the people are also on Instagram, the ones who are on LinkedIn. So I would use Instagram first if you want to also connect with those men because it's a very transactional one because they can judge you, okay, this person is useful for me and everything.
Yeah, of course, because the basic premise of LinkedIn is that people are there for business reasons. So if you already go, for example, to a network event, for example, so where there are a lot of business people, it's obvious that when you go there, people are going to try to sell you shit. All right. So this is always, of course, a little bit annoying for those people who attend those events. And the same thing is for LinkedIn. So and I have a LinkedIn profile, of course, as well. And whenever a guy or a woman or whoever messages me on LinkedIn, I instantly know they want something from me. So there's no other reason that someone wouldn't text you on LinkedIn. But if someone texts you on Instagram, the premise of Instagram is totally different. Instagram is more of a social media platform to connect and build relationships with people than it's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is more of a advertising platform and a suck your own dick platform where you can just publish all the cool shit that you have achieved throughout your career.
Let's be the devil's advocate here from the very get-go. What if I don't like to share my life on social media? What if I'm not that kind of guy? I like to be private. I like to be mysterious. What if?
It's a very interesting point that you bring up there, and a lot of people function that way, that they don't want to share their life on Instagram. But in today's day and ages, when you don't have an Instagram profile, if you don't share what you do, and it doesn't have to necessarily be daily posts, but if you don't even have Instagram, it kind of feels off. I mean, when's the last time you met a girl who doesn't have Instagram or a man who doesn't have Instagram?
Most of the time they have one.
Most of the time they have one, right? And if they don't have one, they actually don't exist. So I remember a year ago, I was out with some friends. We were in a restaurant and there was one very hot girl. And I was talking to her and I wanted to exchange contacts with her. And I asked her, hey, what's your Instagram? And she told me I don't have an Instagram. And in my head, I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Are you on the run? Are you secretly an OnlyFans model? Or what are you hiding? So this was my initial response. But on the other side, it's very interesting. That makes a girl actually a green flag for not having Instagram. But it's another thing that we can touch on later upon. I never saw that girl, unfortunately, ever again. So we exchanged phone numbers, but that was it. But I never invited her ever again to some other shit. And a lot of cool stuff happens through Instagram, even though you exchange phone numbers with people.
Another good thing that I like about Instagram specifically, let's say previously you used to like exchange numbers and then you fucking send her memes after memes.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
hello, beautiful. It's Monday, I guess. Like those kind of memes, right? Hey, beautiful. This is like Wednesday. So you have to initiate the conversation.
Yes.
The good thing about Instagram is like you post stories.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like you're broadcasting your life. And some people can react to that, right? Or you can react to other people. So it's like a very natural way to catch up with people. Also a very positive point to have an Instagram. Because then it's not like unnatural. Like if you have to initiate a conversation on WhatsApp, it's like kind of a random thing. It's like very forced.
Yes.
On Instagram, you can reply, react to other people's stories, and then this gives you an opportunity to start a new thread, like just like naturally.
So Instagram is just another means of broadcasting. Yeah, like you mentioned it, I like the term broadcasting. Broadcast your life to the world for the world to notice it. And if you look back into the history of human civilization, there were always means like that for people, give them the possibility to broadcast their life. Like, for example, people tended to go to the church quite regularly because that was maybe the only possibility they had on a weekend to connect with other people, or they had to go to some certain concerts, some certain meetings, some certain city gatherings where they had to make connections and had to make friends because there was no other possibility to do so. But Instagram in today's day and age is another possibility that got so popular that if you don't use it, you basically don't exist.
Yeah, I mean, like you might be making more money, but you will be beaten by a guy who shows a better lifestyle.
Exactly.
Maybe he's like 1/10 influence, like affluent as you, but he shows a better lifestyle, which is attractive to other men. He's living an interesting life, so other women want to be part of it, and other men want to be like him. So it's like he's using a very scalable platform.
Exactly.
So it's like you have to assess the pros and cons.
Yeah.
What are the cons? Yeah, okay, no one knows you. Well, I guess that's something you can do, but there's like so many pros, like it's a lot of social proof. And also like if I want to get to know someone, I only had a short interaction, I want to look at his Instagram. I do that as well. I ask for a girl's Instagram to see, what does her life look like. You can like get to know so much about a person from just Instagram.
So, and it's the same thing here as well. So people who like hundreds of years ago who were on the market and were screaming like for hours and hours and trying to sell their products, they were basically doing the same thing. They wanted to scale, for example, selling their products, or maybe scale for some other thing that they were trying to achieve with their voice. So people were doing the exact same thing that we're currently doing with Instagram, but just with other methods throughout human civilization. So it's something that we as a human species were always doing, but it's just the channel that changed over time, which is way more scalable because in the past you could have the possibility to reach hundreds of people and maybe communicate status to some woman on the market when you were screaming to a lot of different people. But today you can reach hundreds and thousands of people if you use, of course, the right strategies in terms of story posts, content posts, what kind of pictures to post in order to reach the target audience, for example, high status males or high status women.
For sure, man. So, I mean, since we're on the topic, what would you suggest, like as a complete beginner, if I don't have Instagram and I want to build a attractive Instagram profile? Like, what are the steps? What should I be doing?
Yeah, so before we talk about, I think, what should we doing, we should talk about what we should not doing.
Oh, for sure, man. Let's talk about that.
Because for a lot of guys, and I mean guys specifically, because guys are the one audience that we mostly work with, of course, and they're simultaneously the one who do most of the mistakes. So, and if you would fix most of the guys' profile that we see, they could instantly get way more results just by not doing the mistakes. And if you can add on top the things that we suggest to do, that's like the cherry on the ice cream. But first of all, let's fix the Instagram, so what we like to call it. Of course, don't post any shitty selfie videos, those mirror selfie videos, because they're all cringe. Don't post too many pictures with your bros, even though they're bros of you that you like to go to the gym.
But basically, like, don't post people who look ugly.
Yeah. Don't be a faggot, basically.
Yeah, like post picture. If you want to post picture with your like guy friends, make sure they're they are on the same level.
Yes.
And they are also like well known.
That doesn't mean that you shouldn't post any pictures with your guy friends, but you should post pictures with your guy friends in a certain style, that they're perceived a certain way, that they're not perceived as cringe or as weird. They should communicate a certain lifestyle on them and communicate a certain image.
Public profile or private profile?
Definitely public profile, because you're missing out on so many things if you're private profile. I mean, girls, I can totally understand if girls have a private profile, because of course there's a ton of guys from Dubai or from whoever the fuck knows messaging those girls, trying to sell them on stuff or bring them to OnlyFans. I understand that. But we as guys most of the time don't have the problem. So as a guy, you should definitely have a public profile.
I think in most of the cases that's true. Unless, you are working intelligence and like you don't want people to see, for sure. Also, like I think so I audit like hundreds of profiles at this point, right? The main thing I see is like the quick fixes are basically your username should be as close as to your original name. It's like a personal branding thing. People can easily find you by just searching your name. For example, if you just Google my name, my Instagram appears in like the first results. It's quite powerful, right? People search your name and your Instagram comes up. It's like it gives them an opportunity. Plus your profile picture, it should be fucking you, not a fucking tree or like a boat or some shit, right?
The worst thing is like anime profile pictures.
Bro, like
so this is so, please don't be gay.
Yeah. And like make sure like it looks high status background, your face is visible. Try not to wear glasses, especially in your profile pictures. And like in your bio, put in like something more creative and which city you're living in, so people can connect with you, right? So Instagram also can allow you to connect on a more global level or like nationwide level, but it makes sense which location is your base. So I would always put that, and something interesting about what your profession is, and combine it with what I found recently. You can use AI to make your profession look more cooler. If you are an engineer, like don't just put IT engineer, like no one gives a fuck. So what I would do, for example, I had a client, he's a lawyer, right? So and he also in melody, right? So he's a lawyer and he loves melodic techno. So what we came up with him is like he put his location, and then he's like, I rhyme justice with techno.
I like that.
Right?
That's
so
awesome.
we had
Sounds
like a couple
awesome,
of variations. So what you do is like you go to ChatGPT and you tell it like your job, and then you tell it one hobby that you want to be defined with, and you combine with two. And it will tell you, okay, well, and then make it like only it appears. It doesn't like appear in 2 lines on Instagram. That's like a very good bio. And have at least, man, like 9 pictures, all high status, nothing of, low status. And ideally like 12 to 15. Once you have that, it should not take that long. Your profile is well set.
A very important thing, your bio should somehow match the pictures. So there's no need in like typing in, what I see a lot is like guys will be typing in like crypto investment, business, IT, and they put so many things in their bio, and then they show like pictures of them not doing those things. So if you type into your bio that you're like successful in business, or like a Forbes 30 under 30 guy, I want to see pictures of that. If I don't see any pictures of that, or if you're like good in martial arts and you don't have any martial arts pictures in there, then don't do that, because this is like compensating for something that you don't have. So
what about the guys that put like 100 do's and don'ts? Like, okay, I'm a fucking engineer, I'm like a DJ, I'm an event manager, I'm an army, I'm a brokey. Like, like what about those guys? Like, I personally think just like take one thing and then be identified by that. Your professional life doesn't have to do anything with your social life. You could be totally 2 different things. Like there are models who are also doctors, but they don't have to tell people they're also doctors, right? So for example, I go with like, okay, I do events and I'm a creative person. I don't like tell people I used to be working in IT. So you can just choose one thing. Like don't put like 100 flags of the countries that you visited. No one gives a fuck. Like just also like don't put that. And also what Max said, if you are doing something, let's say if you are an expert or something, your profile should be congruent to that.
Exactly, yeah.
So otherwise people think he's lying.
Facts.
And that removes trust. Now let's talk about how many followers do I need? Do I need 1 million followers? Do I need 10,000? Do I need like 100? When it comes to building the profile, the pictures are the most important part of it.
Yes.
So let's talk about followers and like where to take pictures and how to take them.
You don't need anything of something that can be faked. And this is very big. So you can fake the amount of followers that you have. So everyone knows those tools where you can go go onto them and buy followers, like 3,000 followers for like a few bucks. But one thing that you can't fake are high status pictures. So pictures where you're surrounded by girls, pictures where you're in very luxurious environments, high status people are around you. You can't fake that. And when people see that, they instantly forget your following. So you don't need that.
Although, like with AI, especially
Yeah.
it's like Photoshop brought us something recently. It's called perfect blend.
Yeah.
That is scary, but the thing is, it should look real,
Yes.
right? I mean, you can still use AI, right? So I'm not against that. Just
Yeah.
like make your profile look more authentic, and it should not give people, okay, this person is fake. If people feel, okay, this person is fake, then the game over.
Yeah.
So it should, like, people should be engaging are real,
Yes.
So it should not send the alarm bells. I know, like, you can make a lot of, like, AI is getting more advanced, especially with, I was saying, like, perfect blend. It can mix up colors, and, like, you can put in subjects who did not even exist there. You can put in, like, attractive girls next to you. That's possible. But you also have to bag it up. Once you take, like, steroids, you have to keep on taking steroids,
Yeah.
Otherwise, like,
Exactly.
so live like a interesting but real life.
You can only fake it until a certain point, because there's a reason why we are building Instagram. So building an Instagram is just one part of a bigger picture. And if you're faking your Instagram account for like a whole year with cool pictures and everyone gets like famous by that, once you're in a real social circle where how you are perceived on Instagram certainly becomes reality for you, and you can't match that lifestyle that you portray on Instagram, people will instantly know that you're fake, and they will exclude you from from that circle that you're in. So there's no need in faking pictures for that long. They will bring you only to one point.
Where should people actually, let's say, I don't have any experience with taking photos, right?
Yes.
I just have my phone, like maybe an iPhone and Android. So how should I start taking photos that I can put them on my Instagram and like make my Instagram look nice?
Yeah. Taking good photos with your phone is very easy. You just give the person the phone in your hand. You tell them some very basic instructions. Frame it like this, do it like this, move that thing a little bit here and there, and try to not focus that picture on me as a subject, but try to focus the environment. So it's about the environment where I'm in as a person. And
Why
then
is
that's
that
it.
important as a man to have that environment, focus on environment and not yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, as men, we are portrayed differently as a woman. Of course, women are judged on their beauty. Everyone wants the beauty of a woman, but nobody gives a shit about you as a man unless you are like a male model or you're gay. There's no other reason for that. You as a man are judged by your influence, your status, by your access to scarce resources. And if you're, for example, in front of a very luxurious hotel or surrounded by very expensive cars, people will judge you based on your environment. So this is very important when taking pictures as a man.
So you mentioned about scarce resources. What are these and like what these are not?
Scarce resources are, of course, basically just resources that nobody has access to. And this doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a Lamborghini or some jets or private yachts. It can be something very simple as a cute dog. So when you're taking a picture with a cute dog, like you playing around with that dog, it's already a scarce resource. Not everyone has that, and people tend to love things more when they're scarce.
Let's say if you are below average attractive as a man, like you are, let's say, vertically challenged, or you come from a background which, like, okay, is looked kind of down upon, then you need to go more attractive, right? Okay, show more of your lifestyle, maybe go to exclusive destinations, maybe go to cool events, be around other famous or attractive people. So your environment raises your attraction for you.
Yes.
For example, some tips I give my clients, private clients, is that go to hotels. Just a simple tip, go to Google and type in Instagrammable places, city name. Let's say Seattle, let's say Munich, let's say Berlin. And then you will see a list, right? These are a lot of people, okay, a lot of times these are outdoor places, right? And to like do some more indoor places, as Max said, like, he will be popping up some pictures of indoor photos. You can just literally walk into a Marriott, in a Kempinski, in a Four Seasons, and like take pictures in the lobbies. Just type in 5-star hotels in your biggest city, a metropolitan city, and just like walk in a 5-star hotel and take pictures there. If you show up with a camera, they might have issues, but With a phone, they will never have any issues, especially with the modern phones. Man, like you can take good pictures, and like it's a it's a very good basis for making your profile look above average. Going to a nice place, like a rooftop bar, like a 5-star hotel, like a nice restaurant. It's also showing, okay, he's a cool person. He goes to cool places. So it's kind of putting you in that archetype of the man that is cool. What we want to do is we want to make you a cool guy, even if you're not.
The question I have right now is, why are we then doing all of this work? So why are we taking pictures? What's the purpose of this?
To generate attraction, basically. To generate attraction. See, like as you said, we are judged on the basis of our what we can provide. Like other men want to be around us because we can solve a problem for them.
Yeah.
Right? And women are survival creatures, and they want to be women like who are high status and who can take care of them with resources, and also who have like intelligence, social connections, and all these things you can show very well with your Instagram. Let's say humor is a good form of intelligence. So on Instagram, like every day, I mean, me and you, we post like memes every day, right? So we show our humor side, like fun side.
Yeah.
That's a very good thing. Like you can display a lot of attraction triggers using different photos. Like if you are, let's say, a manager at some position, right? You're a CEO, right? You lead a team of 10, 12 people. And you have a picture of that, talking to something and like other men responding to you positively. That shows, okay, you're a leader of men, like one attraction trigger. Let's say you are adventurous, like you are diving down, at a cool location. You're skydiving or you're like diving in the sea. That's like risk taker, right? Third one is like the biggest massive one that me and you like use like debunk is like pre-selection. It just makes everything so easy. Because it's like a celebrity effect. It's like hard to explain.
Yeah.
When a girl comes in and like you are surrounded by like other girls like who are more attractive than her, I see like sometimes spark in her eyes. Like she's like, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
What is happening here? She cannot like fathom, right? So pre-selection is something we use very heavily.
Yeah.
And then last one would be just like resources, that you are resources, you have good connections that can be done by, cars, like planes, vacationing. So this is why pictures of those kind are also like immensely important. How do we network on Instagram? How to start conversations, how to find people, how to add them to our network, essentially.
Very good point, and it's very easy. So, of course, you have the search function on Instagram, and you can search for basically everyone. And based on your localization, of course, Instagram will give you suggestions to the people around you. The probability of you finding a lot of other people that you already know on Instagram is quite high. But once you register, so let's say you don't have Instagram, you register for the first time on that app, you will already get a lot of recommendations for people you already know, either through the connections on your phone or just by localization. Of course, add them to your friends list, connect with them so those people see you being on Instagram, and from that point on, you should start posting stuff on a regular basis. Of course, fix your Instagram profile, put some pictures on. Before you even do some networking, you should show something of your life. And then you can always search for people. So let's say there's one business guy in your city that you really want to connect with, and you know that guy from, for example, YouTube, and you're definitely for sure that he lives in your city. So of course you search for his Instagram profile and then follow him, shoot him a message. And that's basically the only thing that you can do. But that's the one thing that you should definitely do. But from there on, he will most probably not respond to your message because he's for some reason successful, has his shit together, and why should he respond to you? So here comes the next phase into it. You should on a regular basis watch his stories. So most probably he will post some stories because you know him from YouTube. So he's taking care of his appearance on Instagram, and then react to his stories either not with hearts, that could be gay, but with either emojis or messages, and try to get on his radar over time. Through that time, of course, keep posting your own stories and keep posting your own normal posts where you're conveying value. But because that guy, and we stick to that example with this guy, is in your target audience, you should one way or another portray a certain similar lifestyle to his. So let's say you want to get connected to him because you want to make business with him. He's like an investor or something. If you want to portray your business or your lifestyle, should be in one way or another interesting for him. So you can't just post maybe just martial arts pictures or gym pictures of yours when he is probably not that jacked as you are. That would create a way too much friction in that case.
What we also teach inside the, when people become our private client is like how to create offers to reach out to people. So like what other people do when they reach out to like slide into DMs, they're asking, what can you give me?
Yeah, exactly.
So they are already seeking value.
Yeah.
So we do reverse. Black Swan system is all about reversing, right?
Yes.
So you think about, okay, what problem this person has that I want to connect with? How can I solve it, right? For example, a good friend of ours, Thomas, what he did, he wanted to connect with a very successful guy. He offered him to edit reels for him, short form content. Also, you can invite people to other people's event. We'll dive that into a whole other episode, how to leverage other people's network, how to, invite people and everything, how to actually network, right? But essentially, this is what I would do. Watch their stories, as Max said, and look for what potential problem this person could have. The bigger, the better, right? And if you start with, lead with value already, it's going to put him in a debt of, like goodwill. So you're going to indebt him with like goodwill, and then he's going to reciprocate. This is my, in my opinion, the best way to meet people, because then you are already on the starting at the same footprint. Okay, we talked about the guys, man. Like now let's get a bit spicy. Like how to meet some chicks. Like man, like how to meet like a 10 out of 10 model.
I have to mention the things that you should not do when messaging girls on Instagram. And they might sound very obvious, but so many guys still do them. I mean, obviously, don't send any dick pics.
Good thing is like you are not. I think Instagram stopped it. Like you cannot send any picture anymore.
It's
a good thing. So bad thing were like guys who wanted to get their D rated, but sorry, like you cannot get your D rated on Instagram. You have to. You can only send one message. So it's very important. Like you can only send one message.
Don't simp. And simping is something that not everyone has fully understood. So simping is like trying to get something by putting in too much value up front. So let me make an example here. Let's say there is a guy who really wants to go on a date with a girl, and his only way to build up attraction is to lead with money or invite her out on dates, pay for everything. And the girl will just take that guy and his value, the things that he can pay with money, for example, but not for his personality. So this guy wants to compensate missing personality traits with other things and lead, therefore, with a disproportionate amount of value. So this is how I would describe simping. It's totally fine to invite a woman for a date, but the premise should be different. And it's the same for Instagram. If you message, for example, a girl like, hey, I will pay you to come to my event.
So you are telling me all of the models, so you have your Instagram, you never paid them anything?
No, I never paid them anything.
No, bro, you're kidding me. Like you have hundreds of models, hundreds of girls. You never paid them a dime?
I never paid them anything. So
poor souls, man, like poor souls.
They're all poor, so I'm very rich.
Don't pay them upfront.
No.
Don't become sugar daddies.
Don't become
no
sugar
daddy
daddies, because that way you're leading with money. So and you should always lead with value. Money is a value, but if you lead too much with money, you're simping, and women don't find it attractive because there are already a lot of sugar daddies on Instagram who message girls to either send them pictures of their feet or whatnot, and you don't want to fall into that category.
We should do a podcast where we go through like our friends' DMs and then tell people, okay, this is what you should not do exactly.
Yeah,
like
that would be very
we'll
funny.
go through like let's say a bunch of girls' DMs and okay, why did you not reply to this guy?
Yeah.
That could be a very interesting video as well.
Yeah, that could be very, very interesting.
Then let's talk about what to actually send, right? So when talking about leading from value, let's say, so what we do is like we invite people to fun things.
Yes.
This could be events. This could be like, some fun projects. Because, we like to do fun things. We're creative. Max had a big history, in video production. So he's good with camera. And I just like doing fun things, right? Fun activities, going to a party, going to some event, right? So what you want to do is you want to send a message which says more, but like in less words and more proof, right? Like undeniable visual proof. So what this guy is doing is telling me is true. Of course, we'll dive deeper into what exactly that looks like. But essentially, the more words you use, like you see, like sometimes like a guy sends you like 4 paragraphs,
Yeah.
like 2 pages. You're like, damn, like,
That's
I don't even
cringe.
want to read it, right? Girls get messages like 100, like 50, like dozens of DMs per day. I don't know hundreds, but like dozens of DMs per day,
Yeah.
right? And the more followers she has, the more filled up her DM is, right?
Yes,
So you
exactly.
want to be precise and show more value.
Yeah.
And she's going to come to your profile. This is when the profile comes in. Okay, this dude is actually legit. He's what he's inviting me to, or what he's starting with. He's leading with value. Sounds legit. Sounds I'm interested, right? So that's like gives you a much higher probability of her getting into your circle, getting into your frame. So I would say this is the best way. Lead with value with guys and with girls,
Yeah.
unless you are famous, right? So the other way is to become more famous. But in this, like in the system, we talk mostly about how to do it without money or without a lot of money and without being famous. Also, like those triggers, you can be locally famous. You can become a hometown celebrity if you use this system effectively for a few months. You can totally get there. Everyone, all of the important people in our city, like know very well me and Max. We are very well connected in our city. So you can definitely get there.
Yeah, so the basic premise is to message her in a way of, hey, we are doing this. Do you want to join? So there's nothing that can take value from a girl or where you're leading with too much value. So the basic premise is, hey, so the underlying communication basically is, hey, I saw your profile, you're cool, I will do this with other people, do you want to join? And this creates simultaneously a little bit of scarcity. So the girl might ask herself, hey, this guy messaged me, she will check out your profile as you described, because of course you should do that to check out the credibility. She will notice your photos, you're a cool guy in cool places. She will look at the message back again and ask herself, all right, he's obviously cool, I'm obviously hot, he's doing some very cool things, he's asking me to join, but he's not building up pressure. Damn, I want to go there, but I don't know why. So this is what happens subconsciously ultimately.
This is what you offer, because like you're leading with
Exactly.
value, and then over time you become friends, and then you can become more than friends, of course.
Yeah.
That's definitely possible. Also, another sneaky way or a ninja way to increase your network, if like when you are hanging out with some other people, like you make stories with them, which make them look cool, right? And then you tag them, and then they're going to repost.
Yeah.
Let's say if you tag a person who has like 100K followers, and it shows them in a good light. Kind of think of other person, like go into other person's head. How is he going to see, okay, his value is increasing, right? Maybe it could be, okay, he's doing a speech and you tag him and then he reposts you. And now other people are going to click on it. Oh, damn, who is this person? That will give you a lot of free clicks on your profile. I get a lot of, people following me when I get a repost from, person that I tagged in my story.
Yeah.
That's a very ninja way of also increasing your network, because like people get to know you a lot.
Yeah.
They're like guys who come to me. They don't even follow me, but they're like, hey man, like I know you. I'm like, from where? He's like, you are always hanging out, with these cool girls and everything. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
So people know you just because like some people repost your stories, because like your name appears, like it sticks into their head. That's a very ninja way to do it as well.
I remember this year on my birthday, where you started this trend where you posted a selfie of me and you in your story, and then with like something, happy birthday, Max, blah, 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 blah. I reposted that thing on my story, and then all of a sudden there were like 5, 6, 7 girls doing the exact same thing. Of course, my male friends did the same thing too, but then there was one girl pulling out her graphic design skills, cutting herself out with me, putting flowers and shit in there, posting that portrait picture with me and her in her story. I reshared that. Other girls did that, and all of a sudden I had like 3 to 4 DMs from guys in my requests asking me, hey, who the fuck are you?
Who is that guy?
Who is that guy? And
Who is that guy?
I can only recommend you to become that guy.
If you follow the process, you're gonna get there. That's why we call it a system. We don't call it a theory.
Yeah.
How does the system work? You have an input, it goes through a process, and you have an output. So as long as you put in the right input, you will have the predictable output.
Yeah.
It's a fucking black swan system.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Let's talk about how to grow your following on Instagram. What are some ways, a guy can organically, without buying followers, What are some ways to grow a following?
It really depends on what you aim to achieve with that following, but obviously Reels, short form content is one thing to do that. So if you want to do that on a regular basis, so you first have to, of course, make certain that your face stands for one topic. So I have, for example, a very small Instagram business channel where I talked back in the day about videography and tips for gaining reach on Instagram, how to do better videos, so on and so forth. You should stand with your face for one topic. And there's a lot of guys who, for example, do like those street interviewing style videos where they go up to different girls, ask them some man-woman dynamic questions. And of course, videos like that have the potential to go viral. But this is like the superficial way to go viral. Of course, you should always use Instagram to connect in real life to people. And when you exchange, for example, contacts on a real event with like 10 people, then you have just 10 new followers. But these people, they watch your stories. They maybe recommend your profile to other people. They maybe reshare stories with you. And that way you invested like one small thing to grow your following organically in a long term, which gives you in the end more valuable connections.
So like we have different people who work with us, right? So there are people who can afford, they are doing very well financially, right? So how do you recommend them? Let's say we talk about taking pictures, right? So for example, we talked earlier about how to take pictures with, your phones, but also you can hire a photographer.
Yeah.
So let's say if I have higher budget,
Yeah.
I'm able to afford a photographer. So what would you tell a photographer? Because like a lot of photographers, when you tell them, they take like dating app photos. They're gonna like focus everything on you. Of course, like dating apps, are different than Instagram, because like dating apps, it's majorly okay. There's a bit of your lifestyle, but it's mostly still your looks. It's a very appearance-based algorithm, because like people have to make quick decisions, and the easiest way is to decide on the basis of, okay, is this person attractive? He's healthy. He's young. Then like you swipe right.
Yeah.
But if you use the same pictures on Instagram, it will make you look faggy, because like you are the focus of a frame, which is opposite to what we told before, right?
Yeah.
I would say there's a mix now, because like if you see my profile recently, personally, I try to have a mix of both, right? So sometimes I try to have more like comfort photos, like I'm in the camera looking directly, but also most of the time it's the environment around me, which is the most of the time focus of the picture. So if you have higher budget, what would you tell to a photographer?
This reminds me of that one meme which was very popular on Instagram everywhere. So you have just one person, and then you have like profile picture for Tinder, LinkedIn, Instagram, and some other networks. And this is true because every network has its own set of rules. And of course, the same reason why you wouldn't, for example, post a Hollywood movie just on Instagram, because it's not made for that platform. The same reason goes for not posting like dating related pictures to your Instagram profile, because Instagram works differently than dating profile, right? Me as a photographer, and I've done like thousands and thousands of pictures, I tend to work way better if I have inspirations. That's why I used to ask customers always, hey, what are some pictures that you like? What are some pictures that you don't like? Why do you like them? Why do you dislike them? And of course, you can always, for example, go either on my profile or on Answer's Instagram profile, because we have tons of pictures like that where we like not the center of the frame, but the surrounding is the center of the frame, more the environment, the style, the environment where we are is the center of the picture. And you can just use it as an inspiration, and then give that inspiration to any other photographer. And if the photographer has his shit together, he will know what to do.
Like just show him like examples of some images like on our profile, or maybe popping up on the screen right now. We covered a bunch of things here. Like let's talk about the future trends. So how is it going to be challenging for me if I'm not on Instagram, or how is it like how Instagram game is going to change over time? What do you think?
Yeah, it really depends on what we are specifically looking for. So if I take, for example, the dating area as an example, right? So I used to approach a lot of women on the street back in the day. So, and of course, if you do that, you can get to know some beautiful girls, build good connections with them, but they all use Instagram. So it just takes one DM from another guy who has maybe some good photos, who is maybe mysterious, just one guy, one DM, and that girl is gone. and you don't want to miss out on that, right? And it's just a free resources that cost you basically nothing for you to use. And if you don't use that, you're basically missing out. It's like living somewhere in Australia and deciding not to have a car. I mean, you can do that, but it just makes your life way harder. And you can still approach girls on the street. You can still all the stuff that you're currently doing. But with Instagram, if you're conveying in a very good way on Instagram what you're doing, it creates you way more possibilities that you don't have before that. And it really saves all the things that you already have.
I mean, Instagram is still kind of, like an app, right?
Yeah.
It's like online dating, right? But like the way we use it is like, okay, we combine it with like networking,
Yeah.
like social circle, right? How do you compare Instagram versus cold approach, and maybe also like versus dating apps?
Yeah, so of course, if you cold approach a girl, let's say on the street in your inner city, of course you're showing balls. It's a bold move. You have to overcome your fear of talking to strangers on the street. You have to be flirty. You have to put in some game, and then you have to get her number. Of course, the woman might think, "Hey, cool, this guy has balls. I want to meet him again," unless you're not like weird or something. But you can only do a certain set of approaches on one day. You can only do like maybe 20 approaches in 1 hour because you don't see every hot girl the entire time in your inner city, or for example, let's say your mall. But all the hot girls, or the girls that you want to date, they're constantly on Instagram. You can constantly, whenever you want, either you're like waiting for the bus or taking a shit, you can always reach them on Instagram with a DM. And you can, within 1 hour, reach like 100 girls with your DM, whereas within 1 hour, you can only talk to 20 so girls on the street, right? Of course, I get the objection that a lot of guys have. Yeah, but those 100 girls that I DM on Instagram, not all of them will receive my message, and that's fine. But just because you sent that message doesn't mean they won't open it maybe later. You can always resend that message after you maybe fixed your Instagram. Because the thing is that I didn't know that too, when you send like a message request on Instagram, and the girls don't open them, that doesn't mean they haven't seen that thing. So it only gets like marked on seen when they accepted that message. And this is the key thing here.
Even if you like doing cold approaches, right? I think it's a big benefit of having Instagram. So I
Sure.
think of Instagram as like a funnel. It's like you're captivating people's attention.
Yeah.
You talk to someone, you add them to Instagram. You talk them to like a party, you add them to Instagram. You cold approach a girl, and the day game mall, do day game, night game, whatever. Like you add her to your Instagram, right? And then you keep doing that over a few weeks. You'll have like a bunch of leads, right? Leads in your funnel, and they like constantly get nurtured by watching your content, right? And you look for like IOIs, right? They react to your stories, or maybe you can react to their stories, reply, "Hey, this looks cool, this looks interesting." That's like a more ninja way of doing it. So it could be that she like flaked on you, right? For some time, like for example, like if I use sometimes I try test with dating apps, right? So sometimes I feel like okay, she's a bit reluctant. I just like send her directly to my Instagram because I know my Instagram is going to help me out. And then she's like, okay, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
Now she's like the one who's like chasing after me, right? This is a very common thing I see.
Yeah, you can always use Instagram, for example, to squeeze out more potential that you wouldn't have, right? If you're, for example, let's stick to that example with cold approach, right? You approach a girl on the street, and of course, not every interaction you have on the street will go as smoothly as you wished for. Yeah, some interactions might not go that well, but then you can always use Instagram as a leverage. So, and then you can close her with your Instagram, and then she will see your lifestyle, and maybe that will even out some qualities that you weren't able to conceive in the first interaction.
I personally have not seen a lot of guys who cold approach like a 9 or a 10 and then they're together. I've never seen that. I met a guy one time who's like cold approaching for like years and years. He's like showing me, hey, I got this girl's number. I'm like, bro, like she comes to our events all the time. And he's like so proud. Hey, I got her number. And like he's from UK. He's showing me her Instagram, and like that girl follows me back.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, come on. All you do is like cold approach, of course. Like volume will fix it, but it's very inefficient. I did that as well, But it's like very timely inefficient. And I've personally not seen a lot of guys who are so good at it that they're actually pulling nines and tens,
Yeah.
or even eights. It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't like that happen that often.
Yeah.
You have to be very, very good, or also like have
Yeah.
fucking lots of time and then lots of volume.
Yeah.
Then it can work. And why should people use not dating apps? Like, why use dating apps? I mean, like, it makes sense, right? So argument for that be like, why should I not use dating apps? Like, people are there, girls are there, they want to date.
Yeah.
Instagram, I don't know them.
I mean, using dating apps, there's nothing wrong with using them, but the key difference here is you shouldn't rely on them. Yeah. So I was using dating apps all the time. There were some times where I was using them less, and sometimes I didn't had apps like Tinder installed on my phone. But there's no downside of using them. But like I said, you shouldn't rely on them, and you should always try to find other key funnels for bringing your girls into your dating life. And dating apps, they should be something that you always can do on the side. And maybe when you're like waiting for the bus, when you're shitting, when you're doing something else.
That was one hell of a value-packed episode. What would you tell to people who are watching this? Maybe they want to learn more how the system works. Maybe they want to be interested in working with us or learning more about us. So what should the next step would be?
So if you want to leverage your social circle, if you want to bring your lifestyle to the next level, if you want to truly connect to like-minded people in your city, and not only people in general, but you want to connect maybe to very high status and powerful men, or you want to truly connect to that one Playboy model, to that one, so be it OnlyFans model, or one hot girl that you see in the gym, but you don't know how to connect to her, so on and so forth, then the Black Swan system is for you. So you can go to the website, blackswansystem.com, and you can see all the information, all the clients that we previously worked with, and how we changed their lives and how you can apply to work with us. So see you there.
For sure. I mean, there should be a link on Instagram, or you can just DM me on Instagram, BSS, or just say hi to me on Instagram, and then we can take it from there. Or just you can click on the link below, and it will ask you a couple of questions. If you can fill them, you can quickly have a chat with me or someone else from our team, and then we can see how we can help you the best, and what are some possibilities. We can create a game plan for you. What are the best next steps for you, and how it can work for you.
Thanks for the episode. It was hell of a lot of fun. I didn't expect it to be that much fun. And I mean, all the people, thank you for watching. And you will definitely see some more episodes from us.
Woo! Woo! Nice.